Hey everybody, this is Jeremiah at Reed Racing. We are back to continue putting together the CAS build. So in the last video you saw us put together the front suspension among other things. If you haven't checked that video out, I'll leave a link in the corner. I finally got all the right seals and everything for the rear end, so in this video we're going to go through and freshen that up. And then if we have enough time we'll get it in the car, otherwise that will be in the next video. So if you learn anything in this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button below. I'm going to do a lot more of these videos where I'm walking through how I'm putting stuff together so you guys can learn while I'm doing it. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. Anything helps grow the channel so that I can do more videos. And then we'll also have a lot of racing videos later this early spring and summer and early fall, including Super Nationals and USRA Nationals. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, follow along. And with that, let's get started on freshening this rear end up. So I had to put a new light in the work light, but we're going to take all these brackets off. Other than the brake bracket, and replace them with new brackets. I don't know what that guy was, but wouldn't want to run into him in person. So as I started editing this video, I realized a lot of the video quality didn't have good lighting. So real quick, I'm going to run through the parts that didn't have very good lighting, kind of what we're going to do. So we had to take all the old brackets off the rear end, but before we did that, we actually moved these limiting chains onto this rear end from the old rear end, because it didn't have any, and this is an overslung car. So in order to eliminate the shocks having to hold the rear end up whenever we jack the car up, I'm putting the limiting chains on this one as well. So we moved those over to this rear end, and then we ended up cutting all these old brackets off. They had welds on them, so we took the bolts out, cut those off, and then ended up getting new clamps for the 2-link brackets. The old rear end had ones that had a broken weld, and the welds that didn't break just weren't as good on it. So I bought a new clamp and then swapped the 2-link brackets over. So you'll see all that. And then we ended up putting seals in it. So to move these brackets over, all I had to do was pretty much take the 2 bolts out. This one's got 4 bolts on the new. It's a double shear clamp. So instead of 1 bolt on each side holding it, now it has 2. But now we'll get to the rest of the video. Okay, we got that one all cleaned up. Now we're going to move on to that side. Just going to put these on here loosely, and then I'll take a measurement for where they're supposed to be, move it, and then tighten them down. And then of course I'll have to loosen them later on to rotate them to get the right angle once I get the car at ride heights and all that stuff. The next part of the video doesn't have very good lighting either, but basically I'm just installing these 2-link brackets here and here. It's just 3 bolts on each side, and what their purpose is hold the shock mount, and then they also are a mounting location for this trailing arm that runs up. So I do that for both sides, and then once we get the car sat down and get all the ride heights set, then we actually have to go and level these brackets before we put tack weld on the outside, because it's required by the sanctioning bodies to have those welded. That's why there's a little level down here. I'll probably end up using my digital angle finder to make sure it's exactly on 0 or as close as I can get it when that time comes. But I ended up using the old spring mounts for now. That way I can get everything set, and then if I want to weld the Weir's cups on later, I can do that. So the next thing we're going to do is remove any of the old seals that are still left in the rear end, and then we're going to put all new seals in. I ended up having to buy new hubs for this rear end because the hubs were different size than the hubs on the older rear end. So we're going to install those as well, and then get the rear end hung in the car. Okay, so we got to take this seal out. Now, because I'm replacing this seal, I don't really have to worry about damaging it, but well, the spring came out. Now, if this had a lip on it, I could probably push it in, but I'm trying not to. Well, see if that'll do. Well, it loosened it up. There we go. Just like that. So before we put the new one in, we're gonna clean all that out with some sandpaper, fine sandpaper or something like that, emery cloth, just to get all this stuff out of here. We're gonna clean it out with some probably brake clean and wipe it down and make sure all the stuff's out of there before we put the new seals in. Okay, so we got everything cleaned up. I didn't show that part because it's just sanding. It's kind of boring. So we're gonna put a little bit of rear end oil on here just to help it slide in. Gonna line that up. So we had to use this to get it started, but now that we got it kind of in there straight, we're gonna finish it off with the socket just so that we are applying even pressure. Pretty close. We'll just kind of tap around. That's in pretty good. So there's the one outer. We're gonna do the other outer real quick, and then we'll do the inners. Okay, so we got both the inner tube seals in. We're gonna start putting the hubs on and hubs together. So we got all the seals in the rear end except for the hub seals, which actually go in the hubs themselves before they slide on. And this seems like a good stopping point for today, so we're gonna end the video here, and in the next video we'll show how to put the hubs on and get the rear end hung in the car. So make sure to stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed this video today, give it a thumbs up. If you learned anything or you want to follow along, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure to check out our Facebook, Instagram, and our partner links if you haven't already. They're all down below in the description. Make sure to check those out, and we'll see you in the next video.